Okay, should we start? I know we've been chatting, which has been, which is nice. Would you be happy as Wildswan in the team then?
Yeah, yeah, that'd be
Excellent,
brilliant.
good. So you'll be sort of, I don't know, you'll have to think of an appropriate name for yourself.
Okay.
Brilliant. Oh, great. So you could be, I don't know, Mrs. Health, but not Mrs. Health. You know what I mean. Health and, I don't know, food and all good things. You could be the health fairy and I could be the Wellfairy.
Oh dear.
That'd be great. The food fairy.
No, Wild Swan's fine. It's one of my use Wild Swan. It's my alter ego. This is
Yeah, no, I like it.
okay. My name's Wild Swan.
And so you're going to be covering things like, I don't know, food. You tell me the stuff that we want to be talking about.
Foods, diets, foraging to a certain degree.
Yeah.
More about just what's in season that week.
Pet care is quite important as
Yeah.
Pet care.
especially for people on a budget.
Yes.
Do you remember we were talking to you about this as well? I mean, for our two dogs, 35 quid.
Jesus. And how long does that last them?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, we can't sustain that. We just can't.
Yeah,
We bought them different dog food. But again, it's something that, I worry about transferring them onto this sort of cheaper food. Just sort of simple ways to do things. So yeah, dogs. Anything, what else?
Yeah, no, I can do pets and dogs. That's not a problem. Mostly dogs, preferably, because they're the larger one. What else can I do?
So we've got foraging, sort of diet.
Alternative housekeeping stuff, cleaners.
So what would that be then?
Well, most of them are basically a mixture of bicarb, lemon juice, and vinegar.
Excellent. Yeah, those kind of brilliant.
So they're green as well, but they're also saving you an absolute fortune instead of going out buying this new cleaner at £2.89. That does bugger all.
Yeah, they're expensive as well.
Hopefully, I'm going to give you some good tips on budget foods and cooking and how they don't have to be boring.
There are other things that we want to talk about in the future shows, and we want to have a regular feature with Wildswan as our new fourth member as of the welfare team. We want to be talking about lots of other things that aren't to do with benefits, and I think Wildswan, you can sort of give us a bit of a rundown of the things that topics that we will be covering in the future.
Okay. Well, obviously, food and cooking, which we're starting off with.
Yeah.
Eco housekeeping, I'm going to call it, or green housekeeping, using natural products to be cleaning the house and saving a lot of money and your health as well. I want to do some dog and pet ideas on food, and being aware of certain things and helping you with fleas and whatever herbally, which again, it also works out a lot cheaper.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, you know how much it costs to deflea or to treat two dogs for fleas.
When they're infested, it's just they had an infestation when they were puppies, and it went on and on. It cost us an absolute fortune, and you get scared of putting the stuff on that they give you at the at the pet shop.
Yeah.
So got so many chemicals and stuff in it. It makes them ill.
Yeah, I know. So I've learnt to avoid it. So yeah, stuff like that basically, and the list will probably go on as we go on.
Also, I think it would be good if anyone's got anything in particular, a particular topic that's related to this that they want to talk about, if they could let us know, and if there's anything specific that they want to ask you to post in the chat box, or get hold of us on Skype or via welfare.org.uk website.
Yeah, foraging, that's the other thing we're going to do as well, and turning that into food. That'd be saving a lot of herbs, but yeah,
that would be really interesting. I look forward to all of them. So how are you going to kick off today? We're going to talk about budget food and cooking.
Yes, yeah. And before we go anywhere with this, because I know a lot of people are like, yeah, but I don't cook. I do a couple of dishes and I don't know anything else. Cooking should be fun. It shouldn't be a chore. You should just be able to relax in your kitchen, just get creative, just whack a CD on and let your imagination beat what those adverts are telling you that your children and your family should be having, as otherwise they're going to be deprived forever.
Yeah.
Which I think that's what they do. It's up there. I haven't had a TV for 3 years, and my cooking has got more adventurous and cheaper.
That's interesting, isn't it? All the stuff that's sort of forced down your throat every ad break.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, but one of the most important things to remember is that a recipe is never set in stone, unless it's for cakes, but we'll go into that another time. It's just a guideline. If you don't like something that's in the recipe or it's too expensive, then change it for something else. It probably tastes better. You never know. I say many a time that it's been many a curry in our house has been made with chicken thighs and not breast, and nobody is any worse off for it. So simple as that.
Just as tasty.
Yeah, if not more, I think. But yeah, we just get brainwashed into this. No, it must be this and it must be that, which is better off for us when we haven't got any money.
The thing you were saying about whack a CD on, it's something that I find when I'm in the kitchen. We used to have a TV in the kitchen. We haven't anymore. And I was thinking if I'm going to be spending more time in the kitchen, I do want something. And I was thinking about a TV, but I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to go, a CD player or a radio.
Yeah, definitely do it. Do it. It's a lot more fun.
And it's nice having something in the background while you're being creative.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It just, you start dancing around the kitchen. I mean, anybody walks in, they're going to think you've gone mad, but who cares? You're also in the kitchen for longer. It's not a case of just chucking it all in and going and doing something else. So you start adding extra bits to it. Yeah, if you've got any spices, you just start to take more notice, I think, than if you just bung it in a saucepan, chuck it in the oven and come back in 20 minutes. Which
I do, but I do that. I would do that less now. It's always that feeling when you're at work that your time is so precious that you've got to use it all really. You've got to use it all rather than chilling a bit more, and things would be better.
Yeah, it's taken me forever to actually learn that it's okay to sit down for an hour and do nothing.
Yeah, you've got to sort of get into that frame of mind, though, haven't you?
Mm.
The thing that I really wanted to talk to you about, I wanted you to talk about, was the supermarkets and shopping and...
Oh, supermarkets. Supermarkets are evil. They're like traps. And if you can try and get out of just going there as much as you did and going elsewhere first, you'll find things of better quality and cheaper. I mean, like for fresh fruit and veggies, if you've got a local market, find out what days they're on and get down there, and you'll notice the difference. Yeah, it's not all wrapped up in plastic and looking all pretty, but it's still good veg, and it's probably fresher, and it's going to be a damn sight cheaper. So always go to your local market first.
That's it. Yeah, we used to have a big market in Lewisham down the road from where I used to work, and the fruit and the veg was just, whenever they had their stalls, it was just amazing. Just loads of different fruit, really cheap, really nice. And as you say, I think it was fresher.
Yeah, I mean, there are stats out, aren't there, that say it takes any veg that you get at a supermarket is at least a week old.
Well, if it's coming from, South Africa or, whatever country it's coming from, or Australia, it's got to be picked, packed. I know they say they do it quick, but by the time we actually get to eat it, it's not going to be that bloody fresh, is it?
No, exactly.
I know we'll go on to seasonal stuff, but, more about sort of shopping.
Yeah, local markets and greengrocers. Try and get to them first, because it is better. I can't really say anything else. And if you do have to go to the supermarket, if there is nothing else around, check Aldi's or Lidl's, because they're fruit and veg. Again, I can't vouch for the age of it, but it's still a damn sight cheaper than the main supermarkets, without naming any names.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it really is. I got a pineapple there for 69p last week in Aldi's.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that once a week. We go up to the local Aldi's just for fruit and veg. grab some milk as well, obviously, because
Yeah.
you always need to grab milk. But just for fruit and veg. And it just saves an absolute fortune.
Yeah, and I think as well that the quality of their food is so much better than, say, 5 years ago, when there wasn't so much choice, and it wasn't as cheap.
No, it wasn't. No, and the queues were ridiculous. You go in there for one cabbage, and 20 minutes later you're still waiting at the queue for it. And I hate waiting in shops. If you're a meat eater, for example, we eat meat, and once a month I'll go up to the meat man on the market, and I've known him for donkey's years. But the meat he sells it in bulk. But if you say to him, can I just have half of that? He will always do you a deal. He's always worth talking to, these guys. They always like a bit of banter. And if you've got room in your freezer, you can just get a bag of something each week. He'll give you extra bags. You can wrap it into smaller portions. Before you know it, you've got something going on, so you can chop and change, and it's not costing you, again, ridiculous supermarket prices.
Is that also good because you have a kind of personal, sort of bit more personal relationship with the butcher rather than you would in a supermarket?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think the guys like that, they always like a banter, don't they?
Yeah.
And you always come out there feeling happier.
Yeah, and I think as well, if you're regular, they want you to come back, so they treat you better, they good around you and want you to come back.
Yeah, they are. They make you feel happy, and they make you feel welcome, which big shops don't do. Yeah. Again, if you haven't got a meat man, the local butchers, and they're the same. They're normally a group of guys that work in there, and you can have a bit of a banter. And if you tell them that you just want chuck beef, they're not going to try and sell you something more expensive, because they want you to come back. They're depending on people like us for their livelihood, so we should be giving it to them.
Yeah, absolutely. For my health, I will eat meat at the moment, and that's fine. If you don't want to eat meat, it's your choice not to.
Yeah, as I say, we eat meat. We don't eat meat all the time. We used to.
Yeah.
But as I say, we're trying to let more vegetarian meals in, and less meat meals. We might get all the way to being complete vegetarians, and might not. Just have to see how it goes, really. That's it. But you might have people that are like us that aren't fancy the idea of going vegetarian. I think it's all pizzas and pasta and...
God, yeah.
I mean, I've got one friend, she's a vegetarian, but she doesn't like vegetables. And I can't get my head around that.
So what does she eat? Pasta and pizza? Basically,
yes, crisps.
Oh.
Yeah, just absolute crap. But yeah, that's how she lives. And
I don't know, I know you're going to talk about diet, and that's so important with, so many kids being overweight and the stuff that kids eat, and they think that's okay to eat. It's just...
Because it's quick and easy to run into Poundland and buy a giant packet of crisps than it is to bake a cake.
But it's just not filling. That's like I'm telling you, you know that. It's just not, it might be a quick, fill you up for half hour, but you're going to be starving hungry after that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but they wouldn't think about keeping in extra carrots or apples and teaching the kids not having the crisps in the house at all. So basically, if you want something to eat, there's carrots, there's apples, there's bananas. Don't give them a choice on anything else until they start to get a taste for it. And I know that sounds horrible, but sometimes...
Well, actually, I don't think that's horrible. I think you're being kind to your children doing that. I mean, I don't know what kind of example and what kind of kids are you going to be bringing up with their health, when their health is poor.
And
their diet's poor.
Oh, I know. Well, you can see it, can't you? But eating cheaper is also eating healthier.
Is that because of the use of more vegetables as kind of bulking it out?
It is. It's going back to basics. It's not listening to those people that are telling you that you if you don't have, as I think I said it earlier, if you don't have our food, then you're depriving your family. You can make the food just as well, starting with the raw ingredients and cutting out the preservatives and the rubbish that they're putting in, and maybe a little bit less meat and bulking in more vegetables, because they are cheaper and they're low fat and they're good for you.
And you can make them tasty.
Oh, you can, yeah. I mean, I use herbs and spices all the time. The one place I don't buy them from is the supermarket.
What, even the little jar things?
Oh, God, they're so overpriced.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah, we've got this brilliant little Asian supermarket, and I get rice flour in there and cornmeal in proper bags, not these stupid little ones for the same price. And he does big bags of herbs and spices for the same price that you'd pay for one of those little glass jars up the road.
So what kind of spices, and what would you use them with?
My staple herbs I have are chilies, paprika, black pepper, turmeric, mixed herbs, sage, salt, and cinnamon. I could go on forever, but those are my ones that I use all the time. If you're doing a rice dish, add some turmeric.
Is that the one that changes the colour?
It is. It's one that makes it go yellowy, greeny colour.
Ha! See, I knew that.
And it gives the rice a lovely flavour. And it's actually, turmeric is really, really good for you.
So that's interesting that it's good for you too.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I'd like to talk about at a later time as well, is different herbs and their health aspects.
Yeah.
Which is another great reason to put them in the food as well.
Sorry, fresh, when you say, do you mean like mixed herbs, sage, are you talking about, obviously at the moment you're talking about the ones that are dried, but would suggest using fresh if you can?
If you've got them, I mean, I've got a little herb garden out there. I pick all my own parsley and my own mint and sage.
Yeah, I've got those, but what do you put them in?
Mint goes brilliantly with peas.
Okay, what else would it go with?
I'm just trying to think. Well, most of the green vegetables, peas and beans, just chop it up and like stir it in. No, you'd put it in just as like the water would come up to the boil.
So you get sort of a taste of the mint.
Yeah, great in potato salad.
Because people, I grow these herbs, but I've no idea what to actually put them in. What do I put basil in apart from pasta sauce? That's the only thing I would know to put it in.
It goes great on top of a pizza.
Okay, I've not made a pizza before.
I get you making pizzas by the end of this.
And it is, I really want to learn from you, and I hope you can tell how interested I am, and I'm sorry I keep butting in. And
No, that's fine.
Because it's really important and really interesting as well.
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, I learnt to cook when I was a kid. My grandma taught me how to cook when I was little. We always baked cakes and this, that and the other. And then I went to school, and I went to secondary school, and it was in the days when you still had cookery as an option.
Oh yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, and it was 1 week she'd make it, and the next week you take in the ingredients and you make it. But it was like a frog march, and it was, you must do this and you must do that. And that's what you've got to get out of. That's what puts so many people off cooking, I think.
Maybe that's what did it for me then, because I can still remember to this day, making I can't remember what it was, but I was walking it home from school, and it was still, we had, primary, middle and high schools in the area that I lived in. And I remember carrying this thing home, and I dropped it, and I was absolutely heartbroken because it had been for me a real chore to do. I'd worked so hard on, taking this thing home, making it and taking it home. And I remember those cookery lessons were difficult.
Yeah, they were very regimented, weren't they?
They weren't fun.
No, they weren't fun at all. And I do swear that's what has put a lot of people off cookery.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure that what they have, was it home ec they have now?
They don't even have that. They don't even have that anymore.
Really?
No.
But when you're at these places, everything was bland. So get your spices and start playing with them. Chili and paprika, when it's cold, if you can chuck in a bit of chili and paprika into the meal, not so that it's red hot, but it makes you feel warm inside.
Yeah, no, I do know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like you get with a curry or a decent chili, that sort of, warmth.
Yeah, and that's definitely something for when it's been a bit cold. I use it as camping food, those. Everything's got that in it for camping, so you just feel that bit warmer inside. Yeah, if you do get the bigger jars of, or the bigger bags even, of the herbs from the Asian shops, save some jam jars. And once you've opened the packet, pour the packet in the jam jar, and then you can seal it, and then it will keep for that little bit longer as well.
When you talk about herbs and, health, it would be good to have if possible, some, recipes that you can use herbs in, especially for me.
Yeah, I can do that. I do hope to, as the weeks go by, even if we're not talking about food at that time, maybe get some recipes up for you.
That'd be brilliant. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Simple, but, filling and easy.
Yeah, I'm just thinking stuff like a veggie hot pot and fresh bread. Then later on in the year, if you've gone out and you've gone and picked any fruit, I'll put up like some jam recipes.
That'd be absolutely great. That'd be fantastic. We've got raspberries in the garden.
Ooh.
I love raspberries, so it'd be nice to have some, raspberry recipes.
Yes. Yeah, we can do that.
Excellent.
I've got one for white chocolate and raspberry cheesecake.
Oh, that sounds really nice. Ooh.
See if we can get you making that by the end of this.
Yeah, well, I will do. If I know what I'm doing and I'm confident and I'm not, I want to enjoy it. I don't want it to feel regimented like I did. And I think what you said is true. I think that really did scar me because it was so awful.
Yeah, it was. Totally agree. But I just remember what my grandma told me and thought, no, actually cooking can be fun, and then ended up taking it, training up as a chef when I left school.
You had mentioned to me that you trained as a chef, and you did that. Did you stop that quite recently?
10 years ago, I jacked it all in.
Why did you jack it all in?
Oh, the birth of the TV chef.
What did that do to restaurants then, as a chef?
Oh, it made everybody a critic. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do something else right. It all had to be done the way they'd seen it on the TV, and you just get to the point, you're like, no. And you had that on one side, and then you had all the regulations on the other side, which have been around for 20 odd years. But I spent more time doing paperwork than cooking.
What regulations were they around food, apart from food hygiene? Because that's the only thing I know.
You've got, food hygiene covers 90% of it, but then you've got your health and safety.
Oh, you have to have a course, because you're working with knives and boiling water.
Yeah, and there's about 3 sheets on everything that you have to fill in 4 times a day, and it's like, when do I get a chance to cook anymore? And I just said, that's it, I've had enough.
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about paperwork involved with cooking. That's bizarre.
I used to work in a nursing home as a chef, and I'd have to go and take temperatures 3 times a day.
What?
Yeah, you have to take the temperatures of the fridges and the freezers 3 times a day. I mean, obviously, elderly residents are more at risk.
I do know what you mean, because in the nursery where I worked, I remember they had, when you go into the sort of kitchen, they'd have like a big thing, a sort of a photocopy list on a clipboard hanging up. And yeah, they would have to sign however many times they'd taken the temperature of the fridge.
Yeah, it was just got ridiculous. So you're trying to be creative in the kitchen. It's like, oh no, got to stop. Go and do something else.
Check the fridge's temperature, check it's okay.
Yes, yeah.
Just mad, isn't it? Really crazy.
Oh, it's completely insane.
Can't you tell that it's sort of like we're really thick that we can't tell when something hasn't been in the fridge because it's not cold?
And now I did the intermediate food hygiene on top of the standard, and it was a 5-day course.
That's quite intense after your food hygiene as well.
Yeah, done one day over 5. One day a week over 5 weeks, so you could get all your assignments in at the same time. And yeah, I've learned some things, but anyway, yeah, lots and lots of paperwork involved, and I just got fed up with it. But yeah, learn to play with spices and herbs, and if you can grow them and pick them, even better. And I make it sound like I never ever buy in supermarkets, but I do. I have to. I buy the basics, basic baked beans, corn, tomatoes, loads and loads of chopped tomatoes because they're cheap and easy, and obviously tea and coffee. I only go in there if I absolutely have to.
And you really was quite strict when you go in there?
When I was working, I wasn't. I was absolutely terrible, but I'm getting a lot. I have to make lists and stick to the list, as otherwise all sorts goes in there and it's like, oh God, I've got to pay for this. So yeah, lists work. I always say to people, never ever take your kids in there.
So true.
If you can get somebody else to look after the kids for a couple of hours and go in, do it.
So true. They're distracting, they stress you out, it stresses them out. Best thing is not to take them.
Yeah, because it just stresses everybody else out then as well, doesn't it? Yeah.
So I went shopping today and we went to Aldi's. That's I kind of try and do a big shop in Aldi's and then try and get whatever else I can, from other shops, because I will not pay their mad prices anymore. I just will not. I won't do it.
No, fair play to you.
But I've got the time to be able to do that. But I'm sure even if you are working, you can make a bit of more of an effort to. And I think it'd be good for you to make that effort because you're not giving these people, these disgusting people, money.
No, that's it. I mean, if you can, on a Saturday morning or your day off, if you work Saturdays, go out and you've got the high street and it's still got, if it's got a market on it, even better. If you can get there on that day, it is just worth, right, got my list. And you go to the greengrocers and you go to the cheese man, you go to the meat man, you go wherever you need to, and you do that first. If there's other things you don't need, you go to Aldi's, but then if you need to get the other stuff, then you have to go into the supermarket, but you know exactly what you want and you don't think, oh, that looks pretty.
Because they are clever. I do start spacing out in there and getting, I spot something and I think, oh, that looks nice, and I pick it up and I think, no, I'll put it back down. But they do try and get you in there, don't they? Keep you in there is the other thing.
Yeah, don't they just? They're evil.
So yeah, I think have a list as well. But as I was saying, we went shopping earlier today, and I probably bought loads of stuff that I didn't need because I wasn't sort of organised about meals for the week, and I'm wondering whether that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Sit down one evening and make a list of all the meals you actually do make. And you'll be surprised because you'll think, oh, we only eat the same 3 or 4 things a week if I bake anything or make anything. But if you write down all the things that you make and that go well, then check your cupboard, see what you've got.
Yeah.
And then make a list, basically, and make it for the shop by shop. As otherwise I'll write it all down and it's like, well, I've got to go there for that, and I just completely confuse myself. So yeah.
Be a bit more organised, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And just do it shop by shop and then go into the supermarket last, and those are the bits that you've not been able to get anywhere else if you've got to do it.
So supermarket last.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll know how much money you've got left because you know what it's like. It's tight budget for everything.
Yeah.
And then you might even start to think, well, I don't actually need that. You know, that would be nice, but I don't need that. And, you know, because you do pick up stuff that you don't need.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, that's the way I do it now. And the way that works for me anyway.
I know we were talking about veggie chili, and I do like some, you know, some sort of beans and pulses, but again, I don't know a great deal about them. You know, really, the only thing I do know about is kidney beans, and that's about the only thing. I mean, yeah, I do know about lentils, but I really wouldn't know what to do with them.
Again, it's something that I remember eating them when I was a kid, and they were disgusting. And then I'd never had them. And it's only again been the last like 2 or 3 years since I've been a lot more aware of certain foods and what's bad for you and what's good for you and so on and so forth, that I really started to get into them. And one thing that I found is if you're making a vegetable stew or a meat stew, whichever, you can always chuck in a couple of handfuls of red lentils. You don't have to wash them or anything like that. You literally just chuck them in the stew when you're making it, bung it in the oven, and they'll just bulk it out that little bit more.
I'm not going to die if I do that. Do you not have to soak these things?
No, lentils you don't.
Okay. See, I know that sounds silly, but when you don't know, you don't know what, and I'd be too scared to do it in case I poisoned everyone.
Yeah, no, I was like, are you sure you don't have to soak lentils? I'm sure we did when we were kids, but no, seriously, you don't. They're fine. If you get dried beans, kidney beans, calieni beans, oh God, there's loads of them out there. They all need soaking for at least 8 hours. So you've got to just think ahead. Oh, if I'm doing that tomorrow, I better get the beans soaking.
Do they not keep if you soak them? Can you not sort of put them in a jar and keep them, or can you not do that?
I wouldn't like to, because they do have a form of protein in them, so you might get a bit ill. You can freeze them.
What, so cook them and let them cool down and drain them and freeze them?
Yeah, freeze them into portions.
Oh, that's a good idea. So you could do quite a bit and, you know, have them ready for, you know, another time and just defrost them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd never even thought about doing that until you just said it, actually. So there you go.
Well, just because it's sort of new to me. I'm sort of trying to think of, you know, how I would use them and, you know, what would make it easier for me to use them.
Mm.
So this is great. Thank you. Huh?
That's all right. You can buy tinned beans, but they're bloody expensive, and they've got salts and additives in them. Dried beans are about 3 times cheaper. So for the sake of remembering to put some beans on the night before, you've just spent 60p instead of something like £2 something.
It's actually not a great deal of hassle. I mean,
not.
I would have thought, Jesus, I've got to do this before I can do that. But actually, it's just pouring something out into a bowl and covering it with adding a bit of water.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like, you know, you go out to make the last cup of tea or whatever in the evening. You think, oh, beans, better do those.
Yeah, and just leave them overnight, yeah.
Yeah, I've woken up in the middle of the night and run down and done it before, but I'm just a bit weird.
Love your beans.
Yeah. The other thing is, you've got to think about things that you like as well. And I'm not saying that you're making food that you don't like now, but
what, treats, you mean?
Treats and lunch. Lunch is quite an important meal of the day. If you're anything like me and you never have breakfast.
You're right, it is. When you're at home, it's that kind of meal where you're hungry, but you're not massively hungry, so you want something and you're not quite sure what.
Yeah, that's the one. So we normally end up with something like cheese and coleslaw sandwich. One day, I used to buy pots of the stuff, and then one day I was like, hang on a minute, this is cabbage, onion and carrot. That's all it is, mixed up. I think I'll give it a go. And so I did. And I haven't bought coleslaw now for about 2 to 3 years.
Shop bought coleslaw is nasty. I mean, I can't say I make my own, but, you know, I always have some if somebody else has made it. And I really like homemade coleslaw. I can't eat shop coleslaw. It makes me feel gaggy and ugh.
But it's still quite good for you. I mean, I chuck in a bit of fruit, grate an apple, put some raisins in it, and some whole grain mustard.
Ah.
And a little bit of cheap mayo, but it's not swimming in the stuff that you'd be getting. in that little tub, and it lasts 3 to 4 days.
So, and potato salad, because I like potato salad.
Yeah, potato salad again, dead easy to make. Boil up the potatoes, not till they're too soft, obviously, got a nice bite to them.
Yeah.
Cool them off, chuck in some mayonnaise or some salad cream and a bit of onion.
And you're done.
And yeah, sorted.
And then again, as you say, you haven't got it swimming in that nasty, runny stuff.
Exactly. And again, something out. I mean, I'll try and get. Oh no, there's no try about it. I'll add recipes for flapjacks if you want something sweet.
Oh, lovely.
You know,
oaty flapjacks.
Yeah, and they're so cheap to make.
Oh, they're nice. I like flapjacks.
And they're insanely easy. I'll have them. I'll have you doing those in 2 weeks. Okay.
When you were saying about, sorry to interrupt, but when you were saying about bread, it was something I meant to mention it before, but I'm trying to, think what comes into my head while it's there. When you say make bread, do you mean with a bread maker, or do you mean with your, own fair hands?
I will admit I do have a bread maker.
See, I want one. Go on.
I bought that when I was at work because I didn't have time to make everything from scratch. And I could just put it on the dough cycle, and that gave me an hour and a half to go out and do the housework or whatever, walk the dogs. I come back and then I can knead it and shape it and prove it and bake it, and it's just so much nicer. So get one.
I will do. Just there was something around bread that I wanted to ask, but I completely forgotten what I was going to ask.
Well, no, you were saying that you wanted a bread maker.
Yeah, no, I wanted a bread maker, and whether or not how easy it is to make bread without a bread maker.
The ingredients are easy. It's a great fitness regime because you do spend a good 10 minutes kneading this bread, and it is physically hard work, and it is a great stress reliever.
But if you don't want to have a marathon with some bread, then
get a bread maker.
Would you? I know what I was going to ask you. Do you buy bread now, or do you just make your own?
I just make my own.
Yeah, I bet So I'm finding bread from shops that, more and more difficult to eat. It's so, I don't know, tastes very dry, it doesn't taste of anything, to be fair.
No. And you've got to think that bread's got 5 ingredients in it. And you look at the ingredients on the back of a bread packet.
Oh.
And no, I can't eat shop bought bread at all now.
Yeah.
I even started making my own flatbreads, my own tortillas the other day. I thought, let's get on board. It's only a bit of flour and a bit of water and a bit of oil. Let's give it a go. And they were really good.
Oh, nice. We'll have to get you on recipes then, if you can.
Definitely. But yeah, fresh bread is, again, it's just time. And you don't have to think, I haven't got a warm kitchen, because it will actually prove slower in a cold kitchen, but it will still prove. So
that means rise, does it?
It does, yes.
What is that?
Prove, yes. I don't know where it comes from.
How do you
prove
spell
itself?
that?
Prove.
Oh, right. I've never heard of that.
No?
No, I've heard, say, leave the bread to rise. I've never heard it say, but I've never heard prove, though.
Prove. Yeah, I worked in a baker's for a while. I probably picked it up there.
Yeah, no, just not heard it.
No.
I know we have to wind up, so I know you wanted to sort of talk about buying stuff, when's the sort of best time to buy stuff?
When it's in season. It's as simple as that. On both, it should be cheaper. On a green and a cost level, if you're buying fresh strawberries that are going to taste like water,
they are like
if
water.
You're buying them in January, they're costing you 3 times the amount because they've been flown over from some hot country. If I ruled the country, it'd be a law that you couldn't have strawberries apart from June till August. Because they're just not worth it. Another thing that you'll find if you're buying from local shops, you don't have to worry about what's in season. They're not going to stock new potatoes at Christmas because they can't afford to. And also, if you want something that's out of season or just got too expensive, you can chop and change things on a recipe. So if you've got a recipe that calls for sweet potatoes and you don't have any, you can swap the veg about. Try potatoes or swede, carrots, parsnips, or even beetroot if you want to be a bit colourful, and it will still work.
What does beetroot taste like in, something like, would you put it in something like a curry or not?
I've put it in curry, I've put it in pasties.
Really? What's it like?
It's actually really nice because beetroot I only started eating this year.
I love it. I love beetroot.
But I couldn't stand the pickled stuff. That's all I ever remembered about beetroot.
Oh no, it's nice.
Yeah, and I started roasting it and then bugging it in curries.
Oh,
all sorts.
roast.
Yeah, roasted swede.
Oh,
It's really nice. So yeah, if you want to be a bit colourful and turn everything purple, the purple world would be awesome. Use beetroot.
yeah, I like that. Good.
So, but yeah, it's that simple with the in-season thing.
And with veg as well. I mean, I don't like that butternut. Is it butternut squash? Is that what it's called? Pumpkin. Is that the same thing?
They're both very similar. They're all from the squash family. Yeah. See, I love butternut squash.
Nah.
No, Nick doesn't like it, and no, Nick likes it. Nick doesn't like aubergines.
I'm not too keen on them either, Nick, to be fair. They're a bit, I'm getting to like them a bit more. I'm trying to try more veg and, be a bit more adventurous. But leeks, I'm not a fan of leeks either.
Do you not like onion then?
I do. And again, I think it was something, when you're younger, you think, you say, I don't like that. So you never have it. And you've got this sort of, opinion on something that you haven't tasted for like 20 years.
Yeah, and I bet the leeks that you had 20 odd years ago were actually probably just boiled one, strained and plunked onto a plate.
Oh, yeah, that's what I think of leeks. Exactly
you
that.
do so many other things with leeks.
And it's such a shame. Veg is so nice to do that to it.
I know.
It's been great talking to you. I know we've sort of run over a bit, but it's been I've really, really enjoyed it.
Good.
And look forward to more.
Yes, we'll work out what to talk about next week. Whether we go on with this one for a little bit with some recipes and stuff.
See what people are coming up with. If everyone's got any suggestions, please let us know. Either via chat box or, through the website, which is Wellfair at Wellfair. Oh, Jesus. Wellfair.org.uk. I keep doing this. I'm really bad for remembering anything like a web address. So, get in touch with us that way and let us know if you want anything in particular talked about. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll be, talking about something equally interesting next time. Thank you so much, Wildswan, for your time, and we will speak again next week on another topic.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.